Proverb says, a heart that loves is always young. And I believe we are all looking young and radiant this morning, because waking up in the morning is always another unique way of appreciating the goodness of God in your life. On that note, I want to welcome you to another episode of Family and Values on your one, reaching for the star station, Galaxy Television. My name is Adejoke Adobe. My friends call me Lori. I hope you had a restful night, but I'm not here alone. Guess who is with me? Joy.
Good morning. It's Healthy Thursday, and today's topic promises to be very exciting and educative. Of course, we are streaming live on all our social media platforms. You can also download the Galaxy app and watch our Family and Values on the go. We'll go on a quick mini feature so we give you an idea into what we'll be discussing today. Of course, we have our guest pretty seated, waiting to do justice to the topic.
We have a health coach, a motivational speaker, and also an entrepreneur in that line with us here. Talking about Judith Amago. How are you, Judith?
I'm fine.
It's good to have you in our station this morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so Joy.
Please, I would like you to give us a brief introduction into the topic. Of course, you saw the mini feature, but for people who really don't understand, in a layman's language, just give us an intro into what diabetes is all about.
Okay. My name is Mrs. Judith C. Amaogo, an entrepreneur, a health coach, and a motivational speaker. And my topic this morning says diabetes. And what is this diabetes? Diabetes is a chronic metabolic disease that occurred either when the pancreas does not produce enough insulin, or when the body cannot effectively use the insulin it produces. That is what that results to diabetes. And what is insulin? Everybody knows that insulin is a hormone that regulates blood glucose. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We used to hear that there's different types of diabetes. Can you quickly take us through the different types of diabetes?
There are 3 different kinds of diabetes. Type 1, which is juvenile diabetes, the one that the kid is born with. You know, we call it an autoimmune. Oh. Yes, an autoimmune condition that attacks the cells that produces insulin. Yes. Then another one is type 2 diabetic. Everybody knows that is a condition that happens because of a problem in the way the body regulates the use of sugar as a fuel. Thank you.
Okay. You did mention that the first one has to do with children and infants. Now, I would like to ask, can children between the age of 5, 6 to teenage develop diabetes? Aside the ones that are inherited,
Yes.
lifestyle, can the food they eat, can it cause diabetes among kids?
Of course. Although I have not really seen, but when a child is obese,
okay,
and the mother or the father did not do anything about it by controlling or the child's weight, as the child grows, it can lead to diabetes.
Okay, maintaining a lifestyle of a diabetes. What does someone who already realized or knows that whether I'm a diabetic patient, what do I need to do to maintain my lifestyle?
Okay, in that case, if the person that is already known that he or she is diabetic, number one, the person has to watch her lifestyle. Controlling what you eat, it matters a lot. That means the person has to be on dieting. You have to watch the kind of the calories, the carbohydrates that get into your system. You need to watch very careful. Then another thing is exercises. It's good to exercise. Sometimes we always driving to this, driving to that, but can I tell you that sometimes we have to drop our car and walk, park it somewhere and walk, do a walk, because it helps a lot. Then another thing that one can do to control this, because it comes with several symptoms. So when the person must be taking medication, that one is certain. He must take something to control it if it's already up.
Then another question I want to ask is this. Assuming I just live my life, what are the symptoms that I need to, look out for? That signs, red signs that watch it. You're walking in the line of,
getting diabetic. Number one, you have to, when you are not active, inactivity is one of the things that can lead to that. It can make you to have, as in excess weight. When you are in a place, you are not exercising, doing things that can make you swell, is also one of it. Then another thing is, having a family history.
Okay, that's hereditary now.
Yes, having a family history of type 2 diabetes. And when it comes to that, maybe you find out that you are in a family that this person is having it, this person is having it, then you ought to watch the lifestyle of what those people have been doing, the kind of food they eat. It matters a lot. Then you can you can do U-turn from those things, so that you are not at risk of having diabetes.
Okay. While growing up, we used to think, I personally used to think diabetic was for the elderly ones. I used to think until you're old, that's when you have diabetes. But research have shown, like you just mentioned, you said when kids are obese. Now, we live in a generation now, and this is to the young ones out there, where we are fond of eating junks. And as parents, we use junk as substitute to organic foods. Now we know that it is quite difficult to get real organic food that does not have so much of fertilizer. How would you advise that we balance up this? How do we tell our young people out there that eating pizza, all these junks food, can lead to this diabetes we are discussing here?
Okay, the first and foremost is, like I said, eating a healthy food. Yes, they are not really sweet the way we think, but that is what our body required. Then another one is, like I always said, test your blood sugar regularly. Always make sure that you check it to know where you belong. That is the most important thing. Eat healthy, exercise, and check your blood sugar level.
Okay. I love when you said check your blood sugar level.
Yes.
Olori, when last did you check your
I know you were coming to me. I was about to come out to say I have all the things at home, but for me to, oh God have mercy. I'm one of those people.
Yes.
So I'm guilty of that.
Yes.
But each time I just notice that, it's been a while. I'll just take it and just punch myself and just check it.
Okay, now that's the fear. That was what I was coming to, and that was why I asked that question. We are scared of the needle punching.
Yes. So
how do you convince a layman out there that, you know what, you wake up in the morning, and what times are they timing to checking of sugar level?
Yes.
Should it be in the morning,
without food?
Without food.
So how do we convince the layman out there? How do we convince our youth that, you know what, wake up maybe once in 2 weeks,
you
check
can
your
walk,
sugar level?
The person can go to a hospital or any healthcare place in office to check his or her blood sugar level. There is fasting sugar on, and there are ones when you eat after you have finished eating, but the best is that fasting sugar.
Fasting sugar. Okay,
Yes.
Explain that, please.
The one that you don't eat anything, not even water.
Okay.
You wake up in the morning.
It's the best
You just go.
way to check.
If you don't have the glucometer, then you can now walk into any pharmacist to do that fasting sugar.
I think it's ideal for every family and every home to have one
glucometer
in the house. You have
Okay,
it,
ma,
and
aside,
it's good.
because you mentioned obesity and healthy lifestyle, aside obesity, now let's leave, what are the major causes of that, aside hereditary, aside the fact that it's in the family? What's the major causes that that I didn't grow up in a family where they are diabetic and I'm not obese, but I notice I have diabetes and I'm having a semi-healthy lifestyle. So what are other major causes of diabetes?
Lifestyle.
It still boils down to lifestyle.
Yes.
Okay.
Lifestyle. Taking too much alcohol. Eating high calorie food.
Wow. Alcohol drinkers, watch out.
Yes, so when you are eating high calorie food, like carbohydrates, in fact, the person is exposed to having it. You know, it's over time. It's not something that you just wake up and you can notice type 1 within a week, but type 2 works, gradually. It goes up gradually before the person will now begin to see signs. Excessive urination, tiredness. You notice that you can't even, wake up energetic. You will see yourself leaning, getting slimmer when you are not doing weight loss program. You are just trimming down. That is a problem. Then constantly going to toilet at night to urinate, that one too is a problem. So when the person starts noticing all those things, then that is a problem. And that, there are what we call pre-diabetes. Pre. That means the person is not having it now. Maybe the blood sugar is high. Like I ran a test on someone yesterday. The person is having insulin resistance is low. And the woman is prone to having diabetes in future. I told her that your blood sugar is high. You can see is high does not mean that she's already diabetic. No. Okay. So what she has to do is to control her intake,
so that she doesn't have it
in
the future. Okay, thank you very much. You actually analyzed the signs of diabetes already.
Our Zoom guest, Dr. Emmanuel, are you there? Hello, Dr. Emmanuel. You can always reach us on our SMS number. It's right there on your screen as we speak. You can send us text messages and we can always relate it with our guests and we can always attend to it. If you have any contribution or questions or you just feel like you need to reach out to us and commend us, you can always send it through that message on your screen right now. Is Dr. Emmanuel ready? Okay, so we're talking about taking carbonated drinks. Is it the excess of sugar that really hard to us or make us walk into diabetics, or what?
Okay. Let me give it to be classified. For people that know me, you know that I love carbonated drinks a whole lot. And so it's now I'm trying to watch it. Sometimes back then I used to take 3-4 in a day, but now I'm good. I'm reducing it. For people like me out there, I've seen cases where people will say I take 4-5 in a day, and people will tell you, oh, that's the reason why you're going to. Now, does taking too much of carbonated drinks and sugar
does it result
to diabetes?
No, the answer is no.
Okay.
But there are things taking sugary things can lead to. That is where we need to pay more attention. Number one, it makes you to gain excess weight. And when one is gaining weight, what do you think will happen to that person? The person is exposed. You are at risk of making the insulin to be resistant. Thereby, in future, the person might be diabetic.
So you're taking
when the insulin is resistance, that means you are telling yourself that bye-bye. The person will be having, experiencing those symptoms in future. Symptoms of diabetes in future. So that is why we should cut down. If I tell you that for the past 3 weeks now, I have not taken Coke. In fact, thank God for my husband who took it upon himself. You see this woman, you must lose this weight in this house. Every morning, my husband will make lemon water. It's not easy. Journey of weight loss is not easy. It can never. Somebody needs to support you. That's why we go to gym. It's not as if you don't know what to do at home.
Yeah.
But when you are at home, you find out that you'll be lazy to do those things. So every morning you will see him, he will come and give me lemon water. The next thing, smoothies. He will tell me that no, you have to take these fruits things for 7 days, and I've been doing it. In fact, I've been doing before. I'm very big, I'm big.
Okay.
I'm wearing 24.
Okay, quickly take us through the complications of diabetes.
Good.
And I would love to ask, can a pregnant woman also get?
Why? That is what we call gestational diabetes.
Okay.
Gestation diabetes, the one that is pregnancy induced.
Okay, before you take us on the complications, our Zoom guest is on standby. Welcome,
Welcome, doctor. Hello, doctor.
Yes, good morning. Hello. Good morning. It's nice joining you this morning.
Wow. Dr. Manuel.
Okay, yes. I think we are having the audio issue, and Dr. Emmanuel will definitely come in.
Okay. Hello, Dr. Emmanuel. Okay, our Zoom guest is live, Dr. Emmanuel Onyenuche. He is the medical director of Waterfalls Hospital, and he will be joining us live from Lagos in Surulere. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir. So we're talking about diabetics. Yes. Can you just give us a deep understanding of type 2 diabetes?
Yeah. Hello? Hello?
Okay, Dr. Manuel, we're back live. We want you to give us an understanding of type 2 diabetes. Sorry.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me now? Hello? I want to be sure you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Diabetes, in a layman's way, is regarded as suffering in the midst of plenty. You know, that's a layman's way of looking at diabetes. You have enough, but yet you are suffering. That's why sometimes humorously Nigeria can be described as a diabetic country, where we claim to have lots of resources, and yet the average man cannot eat. So there's a lot of sugar, there's glucose in this sense circulating in the system, but the body is not utilizing it. And the glucose is needed for energy, for activities, for the metabolism going on. But because the glucose is not accessible to the cells, they cannot utilize it. So they are hungry for energy. The person feels tired and weak, and yet he doesn't have what we give that energy. So type 2 diabetes essentially is what makes it different from type 1. In type 1, there's a problem with production of insulin. Everybody knows, or not everybody, insulin is the hormone that helps, that chemical in the blood system that helps for the glucose to be taken into the cell where they actually are needed for energy production and our activities that goes on in the cell. So, but in a situation where the insulin cannot for any reason be utilized or get into the cells, you have a lot of sugar. Insulin cannot get the glucose get into the cells. The glucose is there being produced in excess. So in type 2, there is insulin, no doubt, but the insulin may not be produced enough by the pancreas that produces it, or there is a resistance. That means there is a resistance to the insulin, so the insulin cannot do its work. Although the insulin is available, it cannot do the work which is to help transport glucose from the blood to the cell. So in type 2 specifically, insulin may be produced. That's what makes it different from type 1. However, the insulin may be, the quantity may be too little to take care of mop up all the sugar, glucose in the system, or even the insulin that is produced, there is a resistance to its action. So when there is an impediment, it will not be able to transport the glucose into the cells, and the attendant sequelae that follow that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Joy.
Doctor, how can one prevent and manage diabetes in where we live in a society where everything we take in is carbohydrate, to the processed food, to everything we literally eat? So how can we prevent and manage diabetes in our society, at least to a minimal point?
Anyway, it's moderation. Moderation is key. We must know that there is a genetic aspect to diabetes. Most of the people who have diabetes usually trace, to be sure, who most times you trace someone in their family line that has had diabetes. But having said that, lifestyle changes and the production of too much processed food has also widened the borders, let's say, for diabetes. So to prevent it, first we need to look at our lifestyle. We have to reduce junk. We have to reduce processed food. We have to balance. If the meal is balanced, balance means yes, carbohydrate is so vital. You can't. It is the main source of energy. But again, in the diet also, if we are conscious to know that we are not on one side, because one can go for weeks on one side diet. You eat rice, you take fat, and then drink mineral, what do you call a soft drink, and they just continue living. So you are right that we can inadvertently be eating only processed food or food high in a simple sugar. So balance is key. We should have our diet made of fruits, vegetables, carbohydrate, protein, fish, meat. If we are conscious about balance, the current teaching is not that you absolutely don't eat food, because all classes of food are important. But if there is a balance, you have a plate of food that has a representation of all classes of food, you are likely not going to fall into that bracket of diabetes. For those who are already predisposed or who already have it, we are stricter with their diet, to be able to make sure that the glucose level is maintained at a certain rate. But the general advice is lifestyle. Excessive alcohol will cause problems. One-sided food, no matter what it is, if you like to eat rice, for instance, rice thankfully can be taken in various ways. So when one is conscious that you can eat rice with fish, with vegetables, with fruits, sometimes you see fruits made in form of salad. So irrespective of our nature of food, if we are conscious of balance, we can bring the balance. And so lifestyle is important. What we eat is the first line before you even go to drugs and the rest. Well, if we can get it right with food, which is simple, you can even follow the fruits that go with the season, and just be conscious of making sure that there is vegetable in almost every meal. That balance can be achieved.
Okay, I want to ask Doctor, eating late, eating late, eating late at night, can it lead to diabetes? And if I want to eat and it's so late, what kind of, meal should I look out for, or something that I can take? Sometimes you take biscuits and you just have tea and you just go to bed. Sometimes you just take beverage. Sometimes I just want to take milk, something like that. So what are the things? Eating late, can it lead to diabetes? And what are the type of meal that you can take when it's late? And from what time to what time can we consider to be late?
Okay. Although I can actually tell you that theoretically, eating late, it's more so much of theory. I've come to interact in my years of practice with patients to see that it is difficult for people to be able to fit into time frame for eating. And the reason is simple. Either nature of like a city like Lagos, nature of work. Some people close before they get home. Traffic takes a toll on them. So some of them, like the women, have to go and prepare what the family will eat. And so there are a lot of factors. But having said that, because health is paramount, it's important that we try to follow a regime. We can plan your meals for a week or as you can, so it will be difficult to. It will be able to. You'll be able to avoid that trap of eating late. Yes, eating late, yes, indirectly, and also directly can lead to diabetes. For those who are predisposed to diabetes, and even those who are not, that is because once you eat late, your system is signing out for the day. There are no activities that will enable metabolism or burning of the energy. So what will happen? The energy will be converted to fat. So you see that even when people come to us who are developing a belly fat I'm getting too fat. One of the recommendations is to avoid late night eating because it is number one in weight growing weight. And you know, there's a link between gaining weight and diabetes because of resistance to insulin. So that's why you see a lot of obese patients eventually begin to develop some signs of type 2 diabetes. But you say, ah, they never had diabetes before, suddenly you will see that when they start losing weight, it looks like they get better. So as long as weight gain is connected with late night meals, it's also connected to diabetes. So eating late will help accumulation of food that is not going to be utilized. The energy will not be burnt in your daily activities. Just go lie down. The fat will be accumulated somewhere, and then it's going to lead to resistance of insulin, and that will invariably lead to diabetes. So if you must eat late, you can't get it wrong eating vegetables, eating fruit. So some people can use.
So don't
Doctor,
eat late.
that has been a very exciting one. Thank you very much for that school of thought. At least we are learning every day. Let's back to our guest in house. You heard what doctor said, and it's also in line with what you were saying, lifestyle. Before we went to listen to Dr. Onzu, we were talking about the complications of diabetes, and I did add that can a pregnant woman suffer from diabetes? So can you please take us in the next few minutes the complications of diabetes?
Okay, number one, the complication of diabetes is number one, eye problem, retinopathy. That is what sugar can cause. Diabetes can cause damages to the eyes. Then another one is heart attack or stroke. Yes, diabetes can cause it. Then there is this one that the foods, you know, people that have diabetes, yes, you know, when there is wound and the wound refuse to go, refuse to heal, that means it can lead to amputation. You see, these are things diabetes can cause. Then kidney problems. I have seen someone that she has been diabetic for the past many years and suddenly developed kidney problem, kidney failure, and she died. Then another one is nerve damage, nerve. Diabetes can damage the nerves, and once it happens that way, that means it's neuropathy. When things that has to do with your nerve, you know. Then another one is gum disease, gum, and mouth problems, you know. Then another one is like something related conditions like cancer, you know, is one that leads to
another.
Okay.
So it's a case of you develop this one as
Yes.
you're moving, it's from one stage to another.
Yeah.
You've been talking about lifestyle generally. Now I wanted to ask, for the youth out there, they'll feel like this lifestyle you're talking about is pretty expensive. So how do we manage it, and you know, how do we talk to them that it's not as expensive as you think it is? The simple fruits, the 15 naira fruits out there can help. Please, how do you pass that message?
It boils down on you, individual. Though I know that children need sugar for energy, but the youth out there can control their alcohol intake. Very, very important. Then you can decide to go on like fasting.
Water fasting.
Water fasting.
Yeah, water fasting is a very good
way
to trim down and also to watch
what you
excesses,
eat.
all the excesses, your sugar.
Good.
Now, back to Dr. Emmanuel on Zoom. Sir, I want to ask, with your experience as a medical doctor, can you share with us some of the complications you've come across and how, you know, what they must have gone through before coming to you, and how you were able to, you know, manage and find solution by the help of God to it?
Yeah, you know, thank you again. Affects the entire system. That's why it's also a systemic illness in the sense that almost virtually every organ or system in the body can be affected by diabetes, because what it does is it weakens the immune system. When the sugar keeps circulating in the system unabated and unutilized, it affects the system. So almost every organ or system in the body is affected by diabetes. But commonly, you know,
Okay. I think we're having a little itch with that. Okay. I want to say a big thank you to Dr. Emmanuel Onyenuche, the Waterfalls Hospital Medical Director, and also an in-house guest. But Judith,
Yes.
we're really grateful you're here. She's an head guard handler, and she can do many things, I tell you. This wonderful woman. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Ma,
I appreciate
please,
you.
before we let you go,
Wow.
I really want you to pass this message to the youth out there and take away the notion that sugar is the major cause of
Parting
diabetes.
note. Just to,
What's your
to-
advice
a
generally?
minute.
What's your parting note? What are you telling the youth out there? What are you advising them? How would you tell them? Now, the thing is, people that are on the bigger side feel the ones on the, let me put it this way, the slimmer people feel they can't suffer from diabetes.
It's for everybody.
Now that's
That's what they
what
feel.
I really want you to, because we are discussing, they are feeling like I'm not obese, I'm not, so please.
if 5-year-old
You
can be
get- So what's
diabetic,
your parting, your general advice to the youth, to the viewers out there?
Okay.
families or homes, everyone out there, your parting words.
Eat healthy fat. Yes, many of us, we are guilty of this. You know, when you think that is only for bigger people, no, it is not. High cholesterol can happen too, whether you are slim or you are fat. So how can we control all this? It still boils down to what we eat. Watch your meal intake. We can go on portion control. Yes, control your portion. Don't always eat too over, you know, excessively. It's not good, because too much of everything is bad. Cut down your diet. Even if you want to eat that your kind, please make it smaller, small portion. Then add more vegetable. Then if you are the type that's always having cravings for sugary things, please, I have something that I can introduce to you that is helping me to cut down my cravings. Yes, if I said for the past 1 month I have not taken malt, I have not taken mineral, yes, because I don't want to have this diabetes.
Okay.
Thank
On
you.
that note, I want to say a big thank you to Madam Judith and Dr. Emmanuel for being on the program today. And a beautiful shout out to our producer, Luso, a beautiful chick.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being there for us.
Thank you very much.
And you know, I love one thing about the people I work with. I love all the behind the cool cameramen. You're doing wonderful work. We love you. We appreciate you. We want to say a big thank you to Mr. Teslim, the HOD programs, and everybody, President, Dr. Alisa. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Of course, you've now learned that you should eat in portions and control what to take. If you're the type that loves soft drink or carbonated drinks, please reduce it and watch your weight. Up next is an entertainment show. Of course, you know, Family and Values. We bring you what you need to know. We tell you the truth about what you need to know and values. And if you want to reach out to our guests, you can, of course,
reach out
send
to us.
in your message, questions, whatever you want, and she will have all the time to answer your questions. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday.
Thank God, it's
Of
going to
course,
be Friday
we're approaching
tomorrow.
the weekend. We'll see you tomorrow. My
So-
name is Joy Abu. Bye.
My name is Remain Abijoki Adam David Olorege. Bye for now.